My name is Michael Salmony, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode where we meet with interesting people in digital finance and payments. And today we have a true star, maybe one of the most important people in payments in Europe, Evelien Witlox. We've known each other for many years, and she has had an amazing career and is now, of course, head of the digital euro at the European Central Bank. So welcome, Evelien. Really nice of you to make the time.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you for the very kind introduction.
It's a pleasure. Maybe you could start by just briefly reminding us what the problems are that the digital euro is trying to solve.
Well, that's a very good question. Actually, it's a question that's asked often. So let me start with the current way society works and payments works. So it is something that on a day-to-day basis, we know how it works, and we make our choices in there. So actually, we have two choices. So either we pay by cash, but more and more we prefer to pay with digital means of payments, which are also provided. Maybe good to know, and I think so, and most of the listeners here would be aware, but just to flag is that cash would be a liability to the central bank, so it's yours, and a commercial bank money is a liability to your bank. So that's the difference between the two. But you never think about it. People never think about it because they know if they put their money in the bank, if they want to have cash, they go to the ATM, they convert it one-on-one with cash. So this is what we call a two-tiered system. And actually this confidence that we have, and we don't even think about it, gives trust to the full system. You trust that you can give your money to the bank because you know you can convert it one-on-one. What we know is that over the years, the usage of cash is declining. There's different, within the euro area, there are different speeds. So for example, in the Netherlands, where I'm coming from, only 1 in 5 of the transactions is still done in cash, while for example in Austria I think it's the other way around. So only 1 in 5 is a digital transaction. But overall in the Eurozone we have seen that between 2019 and 2022 the usage of cash has declined from 72 to 59. So we see that there's a rapid preference for paying with digital means of payment. So that made us think about the future of central bank money and the evolution of cash. So we believe that the digital euro is a natural evolution of cash. And we believe that with that, we actually copy or we just continue the current equilibrium that there is between the two types of money. And this is, as you say, people don't really think about every day, but you know, at least in Dutch, there's an expression. It takes lots of steps to build trust, but it can leave on a horseback immedely.
That's an expression we have in English and many other countries too, I think. Yeah. Yes.
So trust is something very good to keep. On top of that, also most of us are not aware that the majority of the payments we do in the Eurozone, retail payments, we do on non-European payment rails. So the majority of our transactions, like 72% of our transactions, are going over non-European payment rails. We believe that in the current environment, this is for strategic autonomy maybe not the most comfortable position to be in, because of course we hope nothing happens and that we can trust that everything will flow and continue to flow as it goes. But you never know, and it's good to prepare for that. So with the digital euro, we would provide a really pan-European payment rails, payment solution that really will strengthen our resilience and our strategic autonomy. And why is this important? Because payments is a hygiene factor. It's not something people like to do. But just imagine that for 1 day or 2 days, nobody can pay.
That would
Nobody.
be a nightmare, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
So
think, Evelien, you've already made two very strong points for why the CBDC is necessary. One is to retain the monetary anchor at the central bank, and the other one is to increase autonomy, and that's wonderful. And I think people can also read up more reasons from your ECB publication. But this is since this is an innovation channel, we did want to check with you how that will work, because the fintechs, for example, are going to be really interested in, for example, having an API on top of the digital euro. So they can then do their magic on top of this, which they can't do with cash. You cannot initiate a cash payment transaction, but you can initiate a digital euro transaction. Can you tell us a little bit about the API thinking around the digital euro?
Yeah, so maybe APIs already got a technical term, but with the digital euro, we would indeed have a network that is connected all over Europe. So with the current draft legislation, digital euro would be legal tender, meaning that there is the obligation to issue for the people that issue currently also digital means of payments, and for merchants that accept digital currency payments, to accept. That means that we would really have a pan-European payment infrastructure with a very deep reach in the full Eurozone. So that indeed means that this can provide a very good platform for any innovation. So we have investigated in the investigation phase that programmable payments, and I want to make it very clear, we have not talked about programmable money, but programmable payments. And we will make sure that
Sorry, just to make the distinction clear, my understanding is programmable money would mean money that you can only use for one specific purpose, or which dies after a certain amount. And you're not doing that, but you are making the payment programmable, so you can initiate it using a technical interface and do clever things with it. Is that roughly right, the distinction?
That's right. So we will put in our settlement backend a functionality that would facilitate this. So, for example, that we can do a reservation of funds, but the layer where the rule definition and the triggering of the payments would be done, we have proposed that would be left to the market, to fintechs, because we think it's a very innovative space and we think the market is better equipped. But we have offered, we are working on a rulebook for the digital euro, that we could expand the scope of the rulebook if requested by the market to set some rules, so that we can be sure that if there are multiple platforms built on top of the digital euro, that they are, for example, interoperable. But this would be on request of the market. So we actually, but since then it has become a bit quiet. So we would be actually inviting all market participants to think this through, to further work this out, because we do think that this really provides lots of room for innovation.
That sounds amazing, Evelien. Yeah, I'm sorry, we only have a limited amount of time. I'd love to delve deeper into this, and I'm sure others would. But I do want to, because that's a really great story. I mean, you've explained the reason, you've explained how you're furthering innovation with third parties. It's not all being done by the ECB. But if I may make a slightly critical question, some people are saying, you know, the ECB, i.e. more or less the state or the central bank, is now intervening in the market, building its own rails and its own currency and its own rule book and its own scheme. And doesn't that sort of crowd out some of the private initiatives? How do you see that innovation topic from your side?
First of all, on the framing, I don't think we are doing anything else than we did before. We already had cash. We already provided means of payments, and we also only make sure that in a digital age this can continue. So in that sense, we don't believe that we're doing something else. We only make something that is non-digital digital. And you could also argue, if we would not do that, would we be comfortable to have a digital space where there is only private solutions going forward? So that going forward, where this would be the dominant way to pay, would we be comfortable that there would be only private commercial solutions? Mm-hmm. It's a question. But we believe, so we don't believe we're doing something new. And then last, what I want to say is that we all know that digital payments are growing. So we are doing more transactions, we're using less cash. So we believe there's plenty of space for also the digital euro. And as we have said, we don't need to be dominant. We don't want to become dominant. We just want to offer an alternative solution for people that want to use it. There's no obligation to use it if you don't want to do it.
I mean, some people are talking about a Goldilocks zone, like sort of, if nobody uses it, that's obviously no good. Or if the adoption is very poor, that's no good. But if it becomes the number one dominant way of, and it crowds out everything private, that's no good either. So it needs to be in a Goldilocks zone in between. That's where the digital euro should end up. Is that your view too?
Yeah, that's true. If it's never used and you only use it for resilience, but then people need to download an app, get used to how to pay, it's too late. But as I said, we don't want to become dominant. And I think we have a couple of things in the design. For example, there will be no remuneration on the digital euro. And the other thing is that the standards that we would set for the digital euro, especially on the front end, would be open standards, which could be used for other pan-European payment solutions. And they could use that to build on top of instant payments. And therefore, I think we could help even to unlock the great possibilities that there are for instant payments also in the retail payment space.
That's wonderful. Evelien, you've given a most robust answer to my critical question. Apologies for stressing you on that, but you gave a very, very good answer to all those points. But why you're doing it, that it's open to innovation from a technical point of view, with many usable by many schemes, and also how you're seeing the relationship between public and private initiatives. That's been super enlightening. Evelien, I can't thank you enough. I know how amazingly busy you are keeping 100 balls in the air, keeping this going, because Europe is really so far ahead of a lot of the rest of the world. So congratulations on that. And thank you so much for being so enlightening.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. Okay, and I hope all you who are watching this really enjoyed that, and you will find other interesting speakers on this channel, and I hope to see you again for that. Thank you for watching.